Welcome to Driving Immersion. This is the immersive racing experience. Studio 397's Le Mans Ultimate is the best detailed simulation of the World Endurance Championship. You're about to watch the one and only 24 hours of Le Mans in sections. We will be racing in Le Mans Ultimate using as much of its simulation factors to be as close to the racing as possible. We drive from the cockpit using a Fanatec CSL DD Plus wheel and load cell pedal set without any assists except for what exists in the car. There are collisions and damage, tire wear and fuel use, including virtual energy. There's plenty of racing to come. Click unsubscribe now so that you don't miss out on any of it.
Sky's lightning. Maybe the sun is out. See shadows. "30 seconds. 6 more. On the ground.
Wheels on the ground, and we are set to take off for our 20th stint of this 24 hours of Le Mans.
And we're on.
If you're just joining the series, there are 2 hypercars left with just about 9.5 hours left in the race. It is now just about 7:15 a.m. And so we rejoin. This is going to be the 4th stint on this set of tires. Again, on the front we have a set of mediums. In the rear we have a set of softs. There are the 2 hypercars on the leaderboard, P1 and P2. That is Nicolas Lapierre in the number 36 Alpine. The rest of the vehicles that you see there on the leaderboard are retired in the garage. So from the dash of the number 36, we exit out of Arnage and follow through to LF2.
Time is 7:19 a.m. Still 62.9 degrees. Light clouds. Again, we are expecting light clouds at about 80 degrees Fahrenheit later on in the day. Oh. No. A little bit of a spin. Not really concentrating here.
Yes, after the visit to the pit stops, tires are a little bit cold, but mostly they are warm. Back to the number 36 Alpine. We are on watch to make sure that this car comes into the pit stop. Again, if you are just rejoining the series, most of the hypercars are retired simply because they had seemingly run out of fuel. We do have damage turned on, but no damage appears on the car, so it's very difficult to tell if the car retired because of damage or mechanical failure. However, they are failing right before the entrance to the pit lane, so it's likely that they are running out of fuel with just feet to go.
Okay, so Lapierre is now 458 behind. No. 231. So he did not stop.
The last car to retire was the number 35 Alpine. And it had 2 wheels in the pit entry lane before it ran out of fuel and just stopped on track. And at that point, if you don't have any fuel, the vehicle will not go anywhere. The virtual energy is not actually energy that you can burn. And these vehicles do not run on electricity. Here is the number 8 GR010 of Mars Medina coming around one of the Lexus GT3s. Back to the Alpine again. This is down the Mulsanne Straight. And we are just about to arrive into the second chicane, so we will make a brisk left and right.
Tires are a little warm. Back to cloudy once again.
So again, we are looking at the leaderboard on the upper left, including the map, as a part of version 1.1. It has been updated, and it is now live behind the steering wheel, or behind the cockpit. And it is also available during the replay, including new colors for the car classes. So again, it's after 7 a.m. here at the Circuit de la Sarthe. You can see here that the cars are still running with their headlights and the street lights are still visible. It has become overcast as the morning has worn on. At dawn, the sun was actually visible out of Tetra Rouge. And in fact, behind the wheel, the sky does look very light.
Okay, so right now the second place hypercar has not stopped. And if he doesn't stop pretty soon, he's not going to make it.
Yeah, so again, from behind the wheel, we are watching that the number 36 comes into the pits. And actually, after some investigation, he did come in at the end of the last stint before we came in. The Alpine that we're watching here only gets 11 laps out of a full charge of virtual energy, while the Toyota that we are in gets 12 laps. And so there's a variance in the number of laps in which they will actually have to come in and pit.
338, so he is a little bit further. Nope. 338 is his lap time, so he's gone around again.
Again, the virtual energy is not any fuel or electricity that you can burn to power the car. It is a calculated amount of energy that you are exerting to travel at speed. And because of the balance of power,
run out of fuel.
Each team has a different level of virtual energy. I don't know if level is actually the word. It is always
Are these tires
recharged or filled up
They are softs.
up to 100%. So we all get the same amount of virtual energy that we can use. However, each car uses a different amount of energy in order to drive at speed. And some cars are actually more aerodynamic, and the ones that are more aerodynamic, they don't require as much energy, so they don't get as much time on the track exerting energy as the cars that are not as, how would you say, aerodynamic. Now we are behind one of the LMP2s here, and now on the leaderboard, we can actually see during the replay that the car that we are watching, the number 9, is only 3 seconds behind the 5th place car, the number 30.
So I upped the anti-roll bars just by 1 notch, since the tires are starting to give up.
And the ability to do that is a fix or an addition here as of version 1.0. In many of the previous stints, we were using the leaderboard that was based off of a recorded data while we are driving around using SimHub to display it. But now the leaderboard that you see there is actually based off of the game, Le Mans Ultimate. Still a couple of things that we would request is that we'd like to get a clean view of the HUD. So if you look at the very top center of the display or your screen, you can see there that there are tabs for the standings, track map, car data, and so on, including the close button to close out the overlay display. Obviously, they don't show that on broadcast TV, so we'd like to be able to have it here just disappear while we have the map and the leaderboard up. Now you can make all of the overlay disappear, again, by using the scroll mouse as a button on your mouse, or the scroll wheel on your mouse. Just push it down and it all goes away.
Is it possible that the Alpine was in the pits when we were in the pits? Should have looked.
There is no documentation anywhere in the game that indicates that that button, which is the scroll wheel, if you push it down, will actually give you a clean screen. In fact, at this time, that function cannot be mapped to another button or a key on the keyboard. Probably not very interesting if you are not broadcasting a
351
race
winner on again.
of Le Mans Ultimate. But again, in order to make our presentation look professional, all of that disappearing would be excellent. Now we're watching one of the LMP2s here in the sand and gravel. That is a number 30. He has now lost a place to the number 9, and those two cars were within a couple of seconds of each other, if you remember on the last lap. So number 30 had spun around, and that is at the second chicane on the Mulsanne Straight. And if we are correct, he will be coming into the Mulsanne corner in just a little bit. There we are, a right-hander. And a very, very slow right-hander right here for the corner. There is a Mustang in the gravel. That is the number 77. That is the lead GT3. Oh, into the barrier. So we are left to think that there must be something wrong with the
So
Mustang.
it's possible he may be trying to save
Should
fuel.
get back to it here in just a
Stuck behind
second.
this Mustang, just
Back with the number 8
momentarily. I believe that
under
is
the
the second
Dunlap
place
bridge.
GT3. Or third place.
The black and gold Mustang that we just passed is actually the third place GT3. And perhaps later on we may be able to catch up with them. We're back on board with the number 8 Toyota. There is the tire wear or the life left in the tires.
So this is the fourth stint with a set of tires. I think we've preserved them pretty well.
So 28% on the left front, and because this is a clockwise track, that tire has been the one that degrades the most or easiest during the race. Again, back here with the number 77 Mustang GT3. We do have damage turned on, but the damage on these vehicles is only superficial, let's say. So we haven't seen a dangling wheel or a wobbling wheel. We've had a bent A-arm on the number 8. However, looking at it circling the track, everything looks just normal. Now, when you drive it, it does pull, so you are aware that there is damage on the car, but this Mustang here did crash head-on into the barrier. And let's see if he will come in. If it's only minor, because we have our damage set to just 0.25x, or 25%, he may still be able to continue on, even though he did hit
9
the
hours
barrier
left in
pretty
the
hard.
race. Still a long way to go.
So according to the timing here, this is the second place GT3, the number 46 BMW. Back to the number 8 once again. We are 2 minutes and 59 seconds ahead of second place, the number 36 Alpine of Nicolas Lapierre. That is nearly a lap.
tires are not that great. They are hot.
A little off track there as we exit the S's. Again, this set of tires are on their 4th stint. They do indicate just about 28% or more than a quarter of usable tire life left. So perhaps in this stint we will start to see ourselves just slow down and maintain these tires until the end of the stint. Again, every stint so far has been 12 laps based on the virtual energy. We've had many attempts to stretch that an extra lap with the technology that's in the car. However, it's just not enough. So perhaps, again, I am campaigning that they may be
So right now, very messy laps. Lead.
On the Mulsanne straight, we are on our 5th lap of this stint, and you can see there that the left front again is down to 26% life left. Right front 32, 28, left rear 31 in the right rear. And you can see there that the fronts are mediums and the rears are softs. They should have a different amount of wear that they should experience because of their compound. But right now, for this 24 hours of Le Mans, they have lasted just about 4 stints for each compound. Back to the Alpine. Coming around to cross the start-finish line. Pit lane to the right, grandstands on the left and right.
So right now we are coming off of the Baku Grand Prix, which is roughly 2 hours. And in that, the Formula One cars drive totally differently. Here at Le Mans Ultimate, you have to wait for the weight to transfer. You have reasonable grip. But you do have a bigger, heavier car. And I think that was the reason for the messy first couple of laps.
A little bit of traffic here for the number 8. Exiting the Dunlop curves. Again, coming into Tetra Rouge, that is 2 LMP2s just ahead of us. Again, this is the first place LMP2 of Oliver Jarvis, the second place LMP2, the number 24. And right now they are just about 50 seconds apart. And we are going back into the field to watch the two LMP2s that were battling within 3 seconds of each other. Again, the number 30 and the number 9. The number 30 did spin out and into the gravel, and that is why that car is behind now. And I believe the lead or difference now is about 53 seconds.
Okay, so the Alpine is still running. And the distance is keeping constant.
And it sure is a pleasure to be able to take in all the different engine notes here at Le Mans. Again, 3 classes racing on the track at the same time. And that is for 24 hours. So another thing that we'd like to see implemented back into Le Mans Ultimate is the driver changes. And right now, we can't come into the pits and have the AI driver on the same team drive the vehicle for a stint. That was actually available when the game first came out, and while it was still in development, it's actually available in R Factor 2, which is what this game is based on. But right now, it does not work. There is no way to do a driver change. There is if you are playing multiplayer and you are on the same team. But here we are simply driving against the AI for 24 hours.
Very slippery tires now.
Yes, you can definitely hear the squeal from the tires as they slide and lose traction on that very fast right-hander out of Tetra Rouge.
So right now we are behind on our fuel.
Back to the Alpine, a very distinct engine note.
6.1 miles. Right now that is going to be less than 12. Well, we already have 6 in. So we're actually working on our 7th lap right now.
And this is the 36 exiting out of Indianapolis, and this is Arnage to the right. The Mustang again, that is the leader of the GT3 class.
Last lap we did 797.
And we got to see a little bit of the speed difference there. that first right turn into Indianapolis is actually a very tricky turn. It requires a lot of grip. And right now with our tires
in order
being...
for us to do 6.3 laps on top of what we have, which will get us to 13, we need to be doing 7:29.
So our tires being very old, they actually do pretty well to grip around there, and we haven't had any problems at that corner. Yes, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Alpine.
$7.74.
So we are getting a message from the engineer suggesting that we come in and change
I
out
just
of
don't
these
think
tires
we're
as they are worn.
saving enough on the beginning laps of the stint. Don't know how we can do 7:22.
And at this point, we actually have a very comfortable lead that we could come in and change out. You can see here that we are struggling for grip on the first sector coming in through
2:25 we are losing, lost 4 seconds to the Alpine.
But from behind the wheel, the car is still driving just fine. I believe if they go into the red or under 20% of life left, we may consider coming in. But right now, even though they are starting to lose grip, and it's very noticeable, they're actually still doing pretty well to circle the track. Again, we are watching the Alpine to see if and when he will come in to refuel and recharge, perhaps change tires. We did not see at the end of the last stint that he did come in, so throughout the stint, we are looking at the timing to see if he has come in. And we're actually pushing for him to be able to continue racing, so we want him to come in and refuel. So if you're looking at the leaderboard on the upper left of the screen, you can see there that the timing for Antonio Fuoco is for some reason changing. He is currently not on the track. In fact, he has been retired now for more than 50 laps. So that is a glitch in the system. Again, as Studio 397 continues to work on the racing engine or software of Le Mans Ultimate. You may notice too that it shows that they have 100% virtual energy, and that's what that 100% means. However, we are watching the leaderboard here during the replay, which is a recorded data from the live race. And when we're looking at the leaderboard from the cockpit of the number 8, that will be a live leaderboard, which is a little bit different from what we're seeing now. A big hit there from the 36 into the 88 Mustang. Again, I believe that is the third place GT3. Big hit, big enough that both cars spun around. Both cars back on the track. And I think for realism, I think we would have expected a little bit more damage and a little bit more time lost from both cars having such a big collision. So for the next race here at Driving Immersion, we are definitely going to turn up the damage, and we may actually go with simulation or full damage. The reason why we didn't do that here for the 24 Hours of Le Mans is, one, it is a long race, and if we are going to be hit from behind or pushed into the wall and get damage from the AI because they are not up to par, we didn't want to waste a lot of time and lose the race by coming in for damage that we did not incur on our own. So again, our damage here for this particular race at Le Mans is just 0.25x, and I imagine that means or indicates also that it's only 25%. We have not seen any parts flying off. The rear wing does fly off though if you get struck from behind very hard on these cars that have rear wings. However, nobody's lost a fender, nobody's lost a wheel, and so on. We do see dirt and crumpled up fenders, but nothing that's hanging off the car, flying off like they do in real life. So hopefully that may be further in development.
I think we're going to come out about a half a lap short. Okay. Oh, big hit, big hit. Yeah, the back tires are gone.
Big slide coming into Indianapolis. Again, a very tricky corner. That will be where you will see your tires
They're not, but they're just not
if
as
they
good.
are worn.
They are softs and they don't wear very far. Oh,
It is definitely a high G-force load turn as you are going very fast. And earlier in the day we had a few LMP2s going in there as well.
so we do have some damage, but nothing wrong with the suspension. The fronts are actually a little bit cool.
And having a look at the damage indicator, which is that little display there next to the speedometer with the 4 tires, and you can see there the quote-unquote front bumper is damaged. It was a bright yellow, now it is an orange. I believe it may turn red if it is terminal or needs immediate attention or repair. So it may be something now that we can fix when we come into the pits. And if you look to the left of the screen at the tire life display, it is now showing that as a result of that spin, again, on the left tires, they are now below 20%. In fact, the rear is now, as a result of that slide, down to 12%. So very marginal now. I believe we may have at least 3 laps left to go on this stint. And right now we are trying to decide if we are going to continue on with this set of tires. We can slow down, drive a little bit more carefully, not to put too much pressure on the tires. And that may be what we'll end up doing, but right now we're still trying to calculate if we can actually make it to the end of the stint, which is going to be 12 laps. Now here in Le Mans Ultimate, once your tire wear is below 20%, they start to degrade and decline quite rapidly, and below 10%, you may have maybe a lap and a half here of driving at Le Mans, maybe a couple of laps on many of the other tracks. So they will start to go very fast once you are below 10%, but now that we are below 20, you can definitely see that they are
on the virtual
declining.
energy.
are now on lap 10 of lap 12 for the stint. We are showing 18% and 11% for the left side tires.
18 and 11. That's pretty far for the left rear.
We have been able to manage the car so that only 1% of degradation occurs on the tires per lap, so we are pretty sure that we can make it to the end of this 12-lap stint. So right now we are looking at our virtual energy, as you always have to. So when we cross the start-finish line, which is a half of a lap from here, we are going to need at least 16% virtual energy. Looking at our exit out of the Mulsanne corner, we have 23% now. So we should still have plenty of virtual energy to come in on lap 12, at the beginning of lap 12.
Still very cloudy here, really threatening the rain. It's about 8 a.m. now, and we are still using our headlights.
Yes, it should be getting close to 8 a.m. here now at the Circuit de la Sarthe. The clouds are still very dark, and that we are still using our headlights. You can see that they are still lighting up the track along with the street lights around the track. So we are wondering if it is going to rain. There was no rain in the forecast for the whole weekend, but I guess anything is possible.
They have rubbed the wall.
Back to the Alpine here, you can see the data available on the steering wheel. The only thing that's working is the speedometer and the gear that they are in. I believe this is done so that we're not able to see any of the information that they are privileged to, and I think that is all out of fairness so that we don't copy what metrics they should follow. That is the Mulsanne corner. We will be coming up to the Lexus GT3 very briefly here.
On fuel and virtual energy.
Just doing the math, we should be able to make it in for lap 12. The only concern are the tires on the left side of the vehicle, but if we drive carefully, again, we should be able to maintain the level of degradation. traction again out of Indianapolis. But we're going to remain on track here. And you can see here on the last chicane that we are going to let that LMP2 through. Again, that is the leader of the LMP2 class. So he's very fast. We could hear on the engine note that he was coming up behind us very quickly. We are losing time here and we are driving slowly, but again, it is to remain on track with this set of old tires.
.79 gallons. Definitely have enough. A lot of smoke up here. One of the LMP2s looks like it went for a spin. Oh! Did not see the Ferrari.
Yes, I think if we did have track IR or head tracking here in LMU, that we would have been able to look to the left and see if there was another car in the smoke on that spin.
So we are having a hard time. Maybe the Alpine is also having a difficult time unless he came into the pits again.
So this is the number 36, second place Alpine coming in for his pit stop. Again, they only have 11 laps.
Even though we had a spin, we put 30 seconds on him.
Virtual energy. And the Toyota GR010, number 8, has 12.
3 minutes and 4 seconds now instead of 2:29, 2:25.
So from the cockpit of the number 8, we can see that
So
the
that
number
does not
36
stop.
has come in.
I'm thinking that he probably had a spin or an off on the track. But we are coming in.
Again, that is good news because we will have somebody to keep on racing with until the end of this race. Now for the number 8 here, we are due to come in at the end of this lap.
Tire situation.
We are showing 11 there on the stint on the upper left of the steering wheel. That is 11 laps completed. We are on the 12th now. So when we come in across the start-finish line, that will be 12 laps completed. And that is what we've been talking about.
This lap, 9
for
seconds
12
behind.
laps. Quick look at the tire display. You can see now that 3 of the 4 tires are below 20%. However, the left side is 15 and I believe 10.
That's very
8.
possible that the Alpine did come in.
So we were able to maintain them for that 3 or 4 laps that we had to stretch them on the track.
I think he's only doing 11 laps per stint.
And right now we do have a comfortable lead in front of number 2. So we are taking our time, coming in slowly into the pit lane.
Ooh, no grip.
No grip as we brake hard to make the left-hand turn. Again, still a very successful Stint here, stint number 20 in the 24 hours of Le Mans.
Not the greatest
Lap
stint.
4:00.33.
However, we continue to survive. We are 2 minutes and 48 seconds ahead of second place.
So as we come in for the next stint, we are going to put on a set of new tires. 4 stints on the last set is good and long, and they are definitely worn out now. So the track has still not warmed up because the sun has not come out. So we're going to put on the same compound, medium in the front, softs in the rear. And there we have it, 1.3 gallons of extra fuel and 5% of virtual energy as we come in and end that stint. So that's not too bad realistically. We've been down to 1% of virtual energy as we come in. So that is very close to going zero, and we'd want to be careful not to do that. We thank you for watching this race at Driving Immersion, and remember, for more exciting racing ahead, give us a like and click on subscribe or follow so that you don't miss out on the next race event. We'll see you next time.